Ms.Angela Johnson,
Hi.
welcome to Chat on Bharat Marg,
Thank you.
our program in Bharat Marg. We are very happy to see you here. You are president of Carabram,
Yes.
you know, one of the largest cultural organization today in Brampton.
That's right.
And you are heading it.
Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. How long you have been a president, and say a little bit about yourself.
I got involved in Carabram back in 1986.
Okay.
I went to Carabram first of all in 1985 as a guest, and I liked what I saw. So in 1986 I joined the organization that hosted the Caribbean Pavilion and became a part of that. Eventually I went on to Carabram board.
Because you are from Jamaica.
Correct, yeah. So, you know, I chaired the Caribbean Pavilion
Wow.
at some point in time and worked there in the pavilion as a volunteer for many years. And then I went on to the Carabram board, I think it was early 90s. My dates are probably going to be a little bit off, but time frame is about correct. So I joined the board in about 1991 or 92 or thereabouts as a director, eventually moved up to second vice president, first vice president, and then I think it was 2004, 2005, I became the president.
Oh wow, okay. 2005 means you are talking about like 13 years before.
That's right.
Maybe a decade.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
For sure.
You know, so like for the benefit of the other people, I want to know, is there a way if somebody wants to participate in Carabram, like how you did, you
Yeah.
know, you became the part of the board.
Correct.
You know, if somebody wants to become the part of the board or, you know, to take their position accordingly and get involved, how can they do it?
So it used to be that you had to be a pavilion chairperson or co-chairperson to sit on the board. But after a while that became very limiting because most people, they want to stay with their pavilion and work either, you know, as a chair or co-chair. And so they couldn't sit on the board and do both. So we changed that. We changed our bylaws to allow us to recruit strategically for people with certain skill sets on the board. So we have a sort of interview process. You know, we'll see if somebody says they want to be a part of the board, we get their bio, their resume, you know, see what skill sets they can bring to the board, and then we have an interview process with the board, and then it's approved by the board, and then, you know, if we want to move forward, and then at our election, you know, the names are presented so that the pavilion's membership can vote.
Okay, now my question is, if a guy like me, you know, want to get involved or somebody else want to get involved,
Yeah.
you know, is that possible at all, or it is only reserved for the people who are there already, or is there any possibility of new people getting into the board?
There is possibility for new people. Like I said, you know, we look at what expertise and skills the person's going to bring
Like
to the board.
what is that you are looking? Can you be a little bit more
So
specific?
we need people that can get sponsorship, you know, people that can help with media, event planning, working with the city. We do a lot of work with the city, you know, bringing in new cultures.
So if somebody wants to participate, they have to approach you, or you will put out any, or you on a yearly basis you take any
Well,
new
we
people?
don't. We don't sort of go out there. Right now we have a full complement of board members, but if we need to recruit, typically we'll sort of seek throughout the groups that we're currently involved with, because we want to know who it is.
Right.
You know,
Of course.
we don't go to total strangers.
Right.
To be a part of the board, because we're a family.
Right.
And so usually we get a referral
Right.
from someone who knows someone who we think would be a good candidate and would fit in with what we're doing.
Right. So what is the role of the city hall in this?
We work with City Hall because we use city facilities.
Right.
We use the arenas. And so we rent those from the city. It's extremely expensive. It's $5,000 plus tax, plus, you know, if we have to rent chairs, tables, we have to do insurance and all those sort of things. So we have a strong liaison with the city in terms of renting the facilities, and they assist in us.
Oh, fantastic. So it's a kind of a political appointment, or how?
No,
it
it's
goes?
not. No, it's just a liaison.
Okay, so the board decides.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, because that's one of the questions people are asking, mainly, you know, if somebody wants to get involved, how do they do it? Okay, so
Oh, for sure.
I'm glad that you kind of laid out on that, right? And so you have seen Carabram growing for a while.
That's right.
And,
It changes.
Yeah, and I have gone to Carassauga. I was involved with Carassauga.
Oh, are you?
Little bit.
With the pavilion or?
With the pavilion.
The Indian pavilion?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and I saw the number of people there is staggering compared to what I saw in Carabram, right? What do you think, how we can improve the Carabram? Like, which started first?
Carabram,
Carabram started first,
for sure.
and but you know that the amount of excitement and events and the number of people per se was extremely high compared to Carabram. What do you think we can do to improve it?
Well, we have a bit of a different model, and I don't have the proof, but in talking to people with Carassauga, because we kind of launched them years ago, but our belief, and from what we've heard through the grapevine, and like I say, I can't validate it because no one wants to come out and tell you directly, but I think the support from the city of Mississauga is probably a little bit more than what we get from the city of Brampton in terms of, you know, like I say, we have to pay for the facilities and they don't come cheap. And also, you know, on top of that, we're all not-for-profit groups. That's one of our mandates. Anyone hosting a pavilion has to be a not-for-profit group, because I think from a visitor's point of view, they don't want to see this as a money-making venture for private enterprise to be making money out of Carabram to put in their pockets.
Right.
It's not-for-profit groups that do work in the community, so whatever benefits are gained from Carabram goes back into the community, whether it's heritage classes, dance classes, language classes, scholarships, and that sort of thing. So we're giving back to the community. One of our strongest point is that the festival has to remain culturally relevant. And there's a difference with Carassauga, because I know that over the years, what they've done, they've allowed, permitted non-cultural vendors to be there.
Like, can you give some examples?
Pots and pans, Mary Kay, windows, cemeteries.
Well, for cultural, you want even the sponsors to be cultural related?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've turned down sponsorship, you know, like Scotiabank used to sponsor us, and 1 year a change of management at the branch that we dealt with, you know, said...
But last year I saw some bank.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Okay.
You know, we as a board, we go around to the pavilions and we try to police it as best as we can.
But the thing is, you know, I have a certain take on it. Okay, let me ask you a question on that.
Sure.
Like for example, Carabram, you know, in this case, right? If a family of 4 is coming, it is like $40, which is like expensive for a average family.
That's right.
You know, especially when you know, the events are not up to the mark, many of the cases.
Oh, you know,
Yeah, keeping that aside, you know, it's expensive. Is there anything that you can take off the lid of the sponsorship so that the tickets can be waived off or anything like that, so that more people can come inside and you can get money from the sponsorship rather?
Oh, for sure. You know, Shoppers World, Rio Can used to sponsor free tickets.
Right.
So what we used to do back then, and they stopped doing it, because I'm sure you know that in these days, you know, everybody is going out to corporate to look for sponsorship.
Right.
And it's not easy, you know, because there's too many people asking for money.
Right.
The same with the city, they cut back on their funding dollars. And, you know, I go back to the fact that getting quality entertainment is expensive. Unless, like Fiesta Filipina, they have their own dance troupe, so they have first-class entertainment. A lot of the issues that we faced was that some of the cultures that participated before, they've aged out. Like this year, we had to go to Kitchener to get German entertainment, whereas before, it was a German club on Highway 10 that used to participate in Carabram. They don't have...
Do they get paid? The artists?
The entertainment?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're not going to do it for free.
Okay.
They're not going to do it for free. And like I say, you know, we strive to make the festival culturally relevant. We tell the pavilions, you know, if you have stuff in your pavilion that doesn't represent your culture, it shouldn't be there. Not only we don't want to commercialize the festival, but it's an insult to your culture.
Right.
If you're going to have Tupperware in your pavilion, like, you know, if I came to your home, you're not going to give me a paper cup to drink out of it.
No.
You're not going to give me Tupperware to eat it. You want to promote your culture in the best possible light.
Right.
So why deface your culture by having stuff in your pavilion that doesn't represent your culture? And we tell pavilions, you know, Carabram is about education. We need to educate the community about the different cultures represented in Brampton. We need to break down barriers because there's a lot of ignorance, there's a lot of intolerance. You see what's going on in the US and, you know, it filters through to Canada. I wouldn't go to my neighbor. If I lived next door to you, I wouldn't come to you and say, why have you got shoes outside the door? Why have you got lights there? I wouldn't do that because you would probably find it offensive.
Right.
However, in Carabram,
You are able to ask those
you can
things,
ask those
right?
questions because it's a non-threatening environment.
Absolutely. I agree.
It's an educational environment.
Yeah. See, my only thing is how we can double or triple the crowd. Because it's kind of a, you know, do you need to bring in some new energy into the board who can think outside the box, or what is really needed to work out a plan to increase the numbers and entertainment?
You know, I agree with you about the numbers, but we also have to look at quality. It's not just about having a truckload of people pass through. For what purpose? Like I say, you know, and I'm not criticizing Carassauga, don't get me wrong, but, you know, there's a commercial element to it. We do surveys every year, and, you know, a lot of people, and I go to farmers market, and one lady, she categorically says, I'll never come back to Carabram as long as you got all the cultures together. She said it defeats the purpose of the concept of caravan,
Right.
which is how it started.
Right.
You travel from place to place to place. Yes, economically, I know it's better for the pavilions to share a location. It's better for the visitor to go to one location, but not everybody wants one location. Not everybody. You know, like seniors, like myself even, I don't go to Carassauga anymore because I can't manage it. I cannot manage walking through Hershey Center on concrete for half a day. It's hard to find parking. You gotta park miles away. And, you know, you're up and down, you're being jostled by people constantly. Not everybody likes that.
Absolutely.
You know, so there's different concepts. And for me, Carabram has to be about quality and about the heavy emphasis is on education.
Right.
It's not just a party.
Absolutely. On the same line, okay, you said that Carassauga gets more support from the city hall.
That's what we
right?
heard.
Yeah, but now you're going to have a new mayor.
Well, we'll see.
Right? So if you want to say to the new mayor how we can improve this and what you need from them, what will you say them?
They need to give us the rec centers for free.
Which center?
The sites that we use. You know, we use Centric Gardens, we use Chris Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
If we had that for free,
Mm-hmm.
we're saving over $40,000, which would help the pavilions to improve their pavilions in terms of getting more professional entertainment. That $40,000 can go a long, long way. Because like I say, you know, each site is $5,000.
Will you ask the new mayor?
Someone on my board will be liaising with the mayor.
Okay. Now, how the pavilions are chosen? Like, if I want to have a pavilion tomorrow, you know, I want to have a Montreal pavilion, or
Quebec.
Quebec Pavilion. Means
Absolutely.
what is a qualification for it?
So we have our guidelines in our bylaws, and you can represent a region, a culture. Our incorporation documents clearly states that we celebrate cultures. Quebec has a different culture. I mean, they're French or whatever, and as much as the Canadian Pavilion tries to incorporate that aspect of the country, you know, if someone came along and said they want to have a Métis Pavilion, why not?
Right. And
It's a different culture.
yeah, having said that, you know, now you have Punjab Pavilion and Elam Pavilion, like, you know, Punjab is not a culture. Punjabi is a culture.
Sure.
You know,
I understand that.
Punjab is not the language. Punjabi is the language. Elam is not the culture. Tamil is the culture.
Sure.
Tamil is the language.
Sure.
You know, so how do you set norms for these things? Like if I have a money, if I come out and say that I want a pavilion on my name, you will give it to me, or how does it work?
Well, it depends. We don't have a naming convention within our bylaws or in our constitution. When the Tamil group came to us and we asked them what they wanted to call their pavilion, you know, they said they wanted it to be the Elam Pavilion. We checked with City Hall. We checked with the then mayor, Mayor Susan Fennell. She had her staff look into it to make sure that we weren't doing anything that was controversial. We got approval to go ahead with it. Sure. I understand the Punjab issue, and I'll tell you that the Indian Pavilion that we had years ago, we had a lot of feedback from the Indo-Canadian community saying the pavilion wasn't representing India well. It wasn't non-Indians that were telling me that. It was Indians who were saying that.
No.
So we can figure it out. Eventually we had someone on our board who is Sikh, and she explained it to us and sort of highlighted what was being done at the Indian Pavilion. And to me, and
What was that that caused the split?
well, it's not a split; it's an addition.
Right.
So, you know, I'm not from India, so
Right.
I have to learn. I
Right.
have to get the feedback from people. And like I said, this lady who was on our board, you know, said, you know, India, as you know, I don't have to tell you because you're from there. I think it's diverse enough.
Right.
Just like Canada is diverse enough,
Right.
you know, we could have a Newfoundland pavilion because Newfoundland is different to Ontario,
Right.
right? Quebec is different from Ontario. Nothing to stop us from highlighting that aspect of the culture because, you know, for one pavilion like Canada, for instance, as an example, they, as much as they try and they do a good job, they can't showcase the entire country.
I just have pull a little bit more about it, okay? Because many people don't know about this aspect. So because I'm from there, I can ask you this question. Tamil is a language,
Yes.
right? Elam is the country they want to have when they want to divide it. Divide Sri Lanka. Okay? Because Yarpanam is where the place is. It's not like Montreal Pavilion. The name of the country it will be when it is divided. Okay? I work with many of them, right? Just to kind of give you an information, right? So now, are you playing this politics?
No, absolutely not.
Because wherever there is a person who wants to stand separatist, you want to stand with them. Is
No.
that what you want to do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Because
That is not our intention.
because if you call it as Tamil Pavilion, I'll be very happy, right?
They chose the name.
But-
and like I said, because I said to them, well, why aren't you calling it Sri Lanka? They said, no, they didn't want to call it Sri Lanka. They're Tamils. They said Elam is the Tamil name for Sri Lanka. I can't disagree with them, but like I said, we took it to the city, to the mayor, and asked her to investigate on our behalf. And they did. And the city came back and said, that's fine, we're not doing anything politically controversial.
Okay, because that's an exact point here, right? Because Tamil, if you keep the name, that's a language name. Tamil is a cultural name,
Right.
right? But you chose to go with some other name, right? Which I am okay with. By the by, I want to clarify my stand because I work with a lot of Sri Lankan Tamil, even though I am from Indian Tamil,
Right, right.
right? But I am just something is smoking here. That is the separatist element. Like in Punjab, you could have done a Punjabi.
And I hear you about that,
Right.
okay? So I can tell you that for many, many, many years, when we found out or when we were told that the then Indian Pavilion wasn't very representative of all of India, north to south, there's differences. I'm sure you can attest to
Right.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, we said, oh, let's do a Punjab Pavilion. You look at the demographic of Brampton.
I am all for it. Okay? I am all for it. I am not against it. But I am against the thing that what you are saying is culture and this thing. Like India Pavilion. You don't call Indian Pavilion because it belongs to Indians, Punjabis, right? Tamil Pavilion. That's how it will be going. But you will go with any name that kind of satisfies a certain set of group.
When we decided to go with the Punjab Pavilion, there was no political.
When was this?
Last year was the first year.
Yeah. So
And the group, and we've been trying for 10 years to do this.
Yeah.
It's not something that just came up yesterday
Correct.
or last year. I won't call names, but they're political figures that we went to and said, we should do a Punjab Pavilion. They didn't say to us at the time it should be called Punjabi.
yeah, that's
So we didn't know that. I'm
so
Jamaican.
now you know. Having said that, can you,
The group that eventually came to us, or we engaged last year, that said they would do a Punjab Pavilion, we thought, fine.
yeah. See, I have no problem.
Okay, so let me give you an example. We have Hawaii Pavilion. It's a state in the U.S.
Right. Okay, so you think there is a name change as per the culture or the language, or there is no need for it?
We went to the organizers of the Punjab Pavilion, and it was brought to our attention 2 weeks before Carabram last year.
Now you know before.
But they don't want to change their name.
Right.
All the material, all their programming, the same with us last year. Everything was done.
No.
with
This
Punjab.
year, do you think that you could bring any change, real change?
It's up to the pavilion.
Okay.
It's up to the pavilion. As long as they're not doing anything that's politically controversial.
Okay.
Because Carabram is non-political. It's non-religious, it's non-political.
Okay. You know
It's
what?
about education, it's about learning about a culture.
You know what? I want to thank you for coming here and discussing with us this one.
My pleasure.
Okay? Because these are all the questions I didn't ask you. These were all popular questions came from the readers.
Yeah.
Okay?
And, we
I am
discussed
very
this.
happy that you discussed with it with no other this thing stinks or getting offended. You know what I mean? You discussed very well. Thank you for that.
My
you
pleasure.
know.
Yeah.
And anything we can do from Bharat Marg side to increase the number of people, because Carabram is the need of the hour, and it running as a biggest organization is the need of the hour for us for our children to get exposed.
For sure.
Because many of our children don't know about our culture. It is here and it has to run well is our goal. Anything we can do, we'll be more than happy to do it.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. So, I just want to tell you too that, I'm just doing some purging at home to take stuff to storage. And, a few years ago, there was a gentleman who wrote to the Guardian saying, that the pavilions that are missing are the Anglo pavilions. We've gone more South Asian or non-white is basically, he didn't say it that way, but that's what he was pointing to. And there was a lot of feedback. People responded to him and said, you don't understand Carabram. You don't understand the work that goes into doing a pavilion. You don't understand the cost. You don't understand that we had an English pavilion. And the folks who came from England, who did the English Pavilion, their children say they're Canadians. They're not from England. They were born here. They don't carry on the culture.
Okay.
And that's the difference with a lot of non-Anglo pavilions, where the culture is instilled in the children. With the Filipino, I can tell you that as soon as their children walk, they're on stage.
Right.
They are very steeped in their culture. And that's what we're finding, is that Ukraine, Croatia, Croatia and Poland, they do, maintain a certain discipline in terms of the children that are coming up. But also, the people have aged out. Like I said, the German pavilion, they have no local entertainment anymore because they don't have the young people
Right.
that's taken on the baton
Right.
and the torch to carry it forward. And that's what we're looking for.
That is fantastic. Thank you for what you are doing. Hopefully we will make it bigger and better for the community here.
I hope so. And any support, we don't want any negative press
Right.
about Carabram, because like I said, we're trying to promote culture. That's the bottom line.
It's not about the negative press.
No, I'm
It's
just
about-
saying,
It's about...
well, last year we got some negative press, and sometimes negative press is press.
Right.
It's good press, right? Because it brings people out, and,
But I will sincerely request from Bharat Marg that the ticket has to be cut down.
we have not increased the price of the tickets for about 20 years.
Okay.
And, if we can find a sponsor that would contribute to the printing cost, the distribution cost, and stuff like that, we're a not-for-profit group. We can't have money in our bank. We have to spend money.
Right.
We do bingo to raise funds for Carabram. We're not allowed to keep too much money in the account. But at the same time, we need operational funds to start up every year.
Absolutely.
If we can find a rich sponsor, which is
Definitely.
difficult. I can tell you it's very difficult. RBC used to sponsor us a long, long time ago, and they used to sell passports for us at all their branches. They don't do that anymore. And we can't get any money
Right.
from the banks.
Hopefully with the new management, probably you will get some more help.
Well, I hope you're going to encourage the new management to provide more help,
Yeah, we will do whatever we have to do.
and promote Carabram for us.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Appreciate it.